Welcome, Shadow Seekers, to American Shadows, Crimes, and Chronicles. Today, we're unearthing a tale that'll haunt your thoughts long after it ends. Whether you're glued to the screen or just listening in, you're in for a wild ride through history's darkest corners. If you're new, hit subscribe to join our mission of exposing America's hidden truths. Regulars, your likes fuel our journey into the unknown. Now, let's peel back the layers of time and reveal the secrets beneath. Ready? Let's begin. What really crashed in Roswell? The truth they don't want you to know. Gather round, folks, because I've got a tale for you that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about the summer of 1947. We're diving into one of the most infamous events in American history, the Roswell Incident. It's a story that has captivated the nation for decades, spawning countless conspiracy theories and forever changing how we view the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Picture this. It's early July 1947. World War II is over, but a new kind of tension is gripping the nation. The Cold War is ramping up, and Americans are looking to the skies, both in fear of Soviet threats and in wonder at the possibilities of the space age. Little do they know, the small town of Roswell, New Mexico, is about to become the epicenter of a mystery that will endure for generations. Our story begins on a stormy night in early July. William Mac Brazel, a rancher working on the Foster Ranch near Corona, New Mexico, hears a loud crash during a thunderstorm. He thinks nothing of it at first. After all, storms aren't uncommon in these parts. But the next morning, as he's riding out to check on his sheep, he stumbles upon something extraordinary. Scattered across the field are pieces of, well, Mac isn't quite sure what. It's like nothing he's ever seen before. There are metallic sheets, thin as paper, but incredibly strong, that he can't bend or burn. There are strange, lightweight beams with odd symbols on them, and strangest of all, there's a kind of tough, rubber-like material that seems to repair itself when torn. The debris field is vast, stretching for nearly a mile long and several hundred feet wide. Now, Mac's a practical man. He gathers up some of the debris and stores it in a shed. It's not until July 6th that he decides to take some of the strange material into Roswell, the nearest town of any size. He shows it to Sheriff George Wilcox, who's just as baffled as Mac. Wilcox decides this is above his pay grade and contacts the Roswell Army Airfield, RAAF. This is where things start to get really interesting. The military sends intelligence officer Major Jesse Marcel to investigate. Marcel is no rookie. He's a seasoned officer with experience in bomb detection. When he sees the debris, he's amazed. He later recalls, "It was not anything from this earth, that I'm quite sure of." Marcel is so intrigued that he takes some of the debris home to show his family. His son, Jesse Marcel Jr., later remembers handling the strange material and seeing unusual symbols that looked like hieroglyphics. It was pinkish-purplish in color, he would later say. There was writing or hieroglyphics of some kind. On July 8th, the RAAF drops a bombshell. They issue a press release stating that they have recovered a flying disc from a nearby ranch. The news spreads like wildfire. RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region, screams the headline of the Roswell Daily Record. For a brief moment, it seems the US military has confirmed the existence of extraterrestrial technology. But here's where our story takes a sharp turn. Within hours, the military backtracks. General Roger Ramey, commander of the 8th Air Force, calls a press conference. He claims it was all a misunderstanding. What crashed wasn't a flying saucer at all, but a simple weather balloon. To prove it, he presents debris that looks nothing like what Marcel and others described. It's just torn up rubber and tinfoil. This rapid about-face only fuels suspicion. Why the sudden change in story? What happened to the strange materials that multiple witnesses described? And why would experienced military personnel mistake a weather balloon for something so extraordinary? As the years pass, more and more people come forward with stories, each adding a new layer to the mystery. Glenn Dennis, a mortician in Roswell, claims he received calls from the airfield asking about child-sized caskets and how to preserve bodies that had been exposed to the elements. He also says he spoke to a distressed nurse who described alien autopsies being performed at the base. Then there's the account of Grady Barney Barnett, a civil engineer. He claims he stumbled upon the crash site and saw not just debris, but alien bodies. According to Barnett, the creatures were small, with large heads and eyes. Before he could investigate further, the military arrived and swore everyone to secrecy. The Roswell Incident fades from the headlines, but never from public memory. In the 1970s and 1980s, the story resurfaces with a vengeance, fueled by the rise of UFO enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists. Books like The Roswell Incident by Charles Berlitz and William Moore bring the story back into the public eye. Former military personnel come forward with new claims and confessions, adding layers of complexity to the narrative. The cultural impact of Roswell can't be overstated. It becomes a touchstone for believers in extraterrestrial visitation and government cover-ups. TV shows like The X-Files draw inspiration from the incident, popularizing the phrase, "the truth is out there." Roswell becomes synonymous with UFOs in the public imagination. In the 1990s, the U.S. Air Force releases 2 reports attempting to close the case once and for all. The first report, published in 1994, reiterates the Project Mogul explanation, that the debris was from a top-secret project using high-altitude balloons to detect Soviet nuclear tests. The second report, published in 1997, addresses the claims of alien bodies, attributing them to crash test dummies used in high-altitude experiments in the 1950s. These explanations satisfy some, but for many, they only deepen the mystery. Why the continued secrecy around a decades-old weather balloon project? Why did it take nearly 50 years for this explanation to come out? And how does this account for the numerous witness testimonies describing materials and events that don't match this explanation? The town of Roswell has embraced its place in UFO lore. Every year, it hosts a UFO festival that draws thousands of visitors eager to delve into the mystery and celebrate the possibility of contact with alien life. The International UFO Museum and Research Center, opened in 1992, has become a major tourist attraction, offering exhibits on the incident and UFO phenomena in general. As we reflect on the Roswell incident, we're left with more questions than answers. Was it truly just a weather balloon, or something more extraordinary? Did the government cover up evidence of extraterrestrial contact? Or was it simply protecting classified military technology? The Roswell incident has become more than just a potential UFO crash. It's a Rorschach test for how we view government, secrecy, and the possibility of extraterrestrial life. For some, it's the smoking gun proving that we're not alone in the universe and that our government is hiding the truth. For others, it's a case study in how myths and conspiracy theories can take on a life of their own. It challenges us to question what we know, to consider the impossible, and to wonder about our place in the universe. It taps into our deepest hopes and fears about what might be out there in the vast expanse of space. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember the story of Roswell. Remember Mac Brazel finding strange debris in his field, Jesse Marcel marveling at material he couldn't explain, and a small town in New Mexico becoming the center of one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century. Whether you believe in flying saucers or not, the Roswell incident reminds us that truth can be stranger than fiction, and that sometimes the most enduring mysteries are the ones in our own backyard. This is American Shadows, folks, where we dive into the dark corners of history and try to shed some light on the events that shaped our world. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the truth is out there, if we're brave enough to seek it.